Hi, everyone, and happy Monday. It's great to be back. I hope you guys had a really great weekend. Today, we are actually going to be doing a project. I was experiencing some technical difficulties on my end with the original topic that I wanted to review with you guys, which was this really cool piece of artwork, how you can make that in CAD Works, and then we were going to complete the full job with the heat transfer vinyl and everything. But since I can't seem to get the artwork program to work for me on my end, I don't know if that's an internet connection issue or not, but it's not working for me today. So we are going to switch things up a little bit today. As you can see in the description, we are going to be heat pressing flip sequins. So I just wanted to, this is pretty much off the cuff, and I figured something's better than nothing, so we can do a project together today. I got flip sequins from Coastal Business recently. So they offer a lot of really cool sublimation blanks, and this is one that I found. So I figured we could test that out today. We're going to do some sublimation on it, and then not sure if you guys have seen this trend a lot. I've seen it a lot in kind of like tweens, just younger girls. I actually see this a lot in Justice. So a lot of these flip sequin type deals. So we're going to be doing a pillowcase. So that's what this is. That's what you're seeing here. And we're going to test this out and heat print it and see how it works. So they do offer this in a variety of colors. So obviously we are going to be pressing the white side of the sequins for the sublimation. But whenever you flip those, the other color changes. So you can see this is like a rose gold color. And I just ordered a bunch of new sublimation patterns. So we'll go ahead and check those out real quick before we dive into the actual application. So if you guys aren't familiar with sublimation transfers that we offer, if you're not doing sublimation in-house, this is a really easy way to get started. So this one is like a pineapple type pattern. That's what we're going to be heat applying today. I already have it cut up so that we can heat apply that onto the pillowcase. And then this one I think is a really cool like splatter paint, which it has a little bit of watercolor effect to it. And then I did a rainbow fade as well. So as we're looking at these, hello everybody commenting in. I'm finally starting to see comments. Hi, Matt's from Facebook. Hello from everyone on YouTube. Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us today. But yeah, so there's a variety of different patterns that you can access all through sublimation sheets. So when you order one pattern, you get a large sheet like that, and 3 come with it. So whenever you order one, expect 3 sheets, and then that allows you to press a variety of items. So the pillowcase that we're going to, this is going to be a little bit difficult. So like I said, original topic I couldn't go with because I was having some technical difficulties on my end with internet to do the original discussion that I had planned. So we're just going to do a project together today. But for those of you that have seen me pressing a lot with this press, we know that it is a 9x12 dimension. This pillowcase is much larger. So we're going to have to attempt sublimating several different times on one substrate. So we're going to see how that plays out. And then we're actually going to take glitter flake heat transfer vinyl and personalize the pillow so that we can build more profit opportunity in it. So if you're looking for just a unique item to be able to offer your customers that's a little bit different from some of the standard custom t-shirts, maybe you're doing bags and other accessories, this is a really great option. Now the process that I'm going to be doing, it's going to be a lot harder because I'm working with a smaller press. But if you have a 16x20 heat press, this is going to be fine because this is going to fit right on there completely flat. You'll use a heat printing pillow because there is a zipper. You want to make sure that you're getting that flattened out. And then you can just lay your transfer paper right on top. So I want to get the whole pattern effect on this pillowcase. So I am going to attempt sublimating it in multiple times in different sections so that we can get the pattern across the board. But I do recommend, if you are going to do this, that you definitely use a bigger heat press, because this is going to be a pain in the butt. All right. Michelle from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you are not very far from me. I'm right in the Rostraver area. So hello and thanks for joining. All right. So while we prep the pillowcase and get it ready, I'm also going to cut the glitter flake. So I'm going to share my screen with you really quick. Not that one. Here we go. All right. So I have it set up in Cricut Design Space. So that is the letter that we're going to be heat applying. The idea with this is to get the initial on there and keep it from allowing the sequins to flip. So for those of you that have seen initials or monograms on these flip sequins, you notice that you can't flip the sequins wherever that letter or monogram is. So keep that in mind. That's the idea here, but it'll all come together hopefully. We're gonna see how this works. You guys are doing this for the first time with me, so I have yet to even test this out. This is completely off the cuff. All right. While that is connecting, so what I did was so that I could piece this out how I need it to be so that we can get the pattern across the pillow without just getting one small space with the 9x12. I actually laid out my pillow on here and then placed this down and trimmed it up based off of where the pillow lies on the platen. So we're going to be piecing multiple portions together to get it all across. And I went with a busy design specifically because I am going to be piecing these together. So if any of these happen to overlap and I double sublimate, it's going to be less noticeable. If I was doing that with this, which would be very obvious because it's just horizontal lines, then it would be definitely more difficult. So I am using a busier design just in case if we get any overlapping, we can avoid that from happening. All right, so I have my Cricut on Iron On Plus. We're gonna go ahead and send that initial to cut. And while that's doing that, we can start sublimating. So I'm going to share my second camera here with you. There we go. All right, so whenever we are setting up the pillow on the platen, we want to make sure that we have the white sequins completely exposed. Right, so we're going to be making sure that these are completely flat. And I'm going to start with the top corner, and then I'm going to do the other pieces. And like I said, these patterns come in three sheets. So you really don't have to worry about not having enough for one. All right, I'm covering with a cover sheet just to prevent any suction from the heat press whenever I go to lift this up, any ghosting that could potentially happen from that. I'm going to increase my pressure here. All right, so my temperature is at 380, and I'm applying this for 45 seconds. So that's the standard sublimation. Whenever I'm working with these patterns, that's the standard time, temperature, and pressure for that. So that's what we're going to be doing that with. So this is first time around me actually working with these sequins, and I was a little concerned about them melting. But typically, whenever the manufacturers are considering how the item's going to be decorated, they know it's for sublimation. So fingers crossed these sequins are okay for that high heat. All right, let's see how it turned out. All right, so far so good. Now we need to do the other sides. And again, if you're just joining, I talked about this already, but I feel like I need to reiterate it. I would definitely recommend doing this on a bigger heat press. I'm curious to know if anyone does sublimation on sequins already. And while that is applying, we're going to go ahead and weed out our E here. Now, as I was considering what product I wanted to personalize with, I was thinking, okay, what's going to not only add value, but not compromise the finish of the transfer that's going on there. Because remember, sublimation can migrate through just about any type of product unless that product is made with a dye blocker. So Glitter Flake is definitely not a dye blocker by any means, but I am using a black color, which will definitely help with that. All right, so if you use a dark color, that's also another way you can add personalization. So we're getting closer. We can see it working. The sequins aren't melting. I'm going to grab a bigger cover sheet to make sure that this isn't going to transfer up to my upper heating element. All right, so Melissa says, I have not, but full coverage like this. Just a few pictures of my daughter of her. Oh, nice, okay. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to use sublimation. A lot of people do it for plaques and photos and things like that. I've seen people do sublimation where they're doing the entire cut and sew process, where they're sublimating each piece of something and then sewing it together. So sublimation, honestly, like of course I do it with apparel because I feel like it makes sense with the heat press to just do it with the apparel, but it makes sense for a lot of other stuff too. But it can be utilized in so many different ways. A lot of people use it a lot in the promo industry world because they can sublimate onto a lot of hard goods. All right, so I got some overlapping there, so hopefully that won't be as noticeable whenever we drop the personalization on there. This is painful for me. I really miss having a bigger heat press. Okay. But we're going to make it through, guys. All right, so this and then a couple more pieces we'll touch up, but at least you guys are getting the idea of the whole process, right? That's what it's about. So you'll notice too, like if you guys are new to sublimation and you're working with these patterns, these cannot be reused. We often get that question a lot, but you'll notice that the ink is completely like transferred off of here. If I were to put this onto something polyester, then you might get a little bit of it, but it's not going to be as vibrant and bright as what you're seeing on the pillow right now. So I do see some questions coming in. Yes, I agree. So that is exactly what I was talking about earlier, Peter. This is definitely great for that younger market. This pillow is actually we're just gonna give it to my niece. All right, let's see how we can get the rest of this fully sublimated. So I'm just gonna trim this up. And just flip some of these sequins back over. And so that you guys don't have to sit through that one more time, I'm just going to go back and sublimate that last strip later, and then we'll apply the glitter flake now just so that you guys can see the overall finish. All right, so Michelle says, I have a Stahl's Hottronics Fusion 16 by 20 heat press. Yeah, so the bigger the better for sublimation, especially if you're doing larger accessories like this. Monica says she's tried sublimation and it comes out really good. Maria asks, what size are the sublimation sheets? I believe they're 14 by 18. They're pretty big. We have it listed on our website too. So I think we shared the link in the comments. So if you guys want to visit that link, it will tell you how much or what the size is, the exact dimension. So you guys know what to allot for with your projects. All right. So overall finish, of course, we need to do that other strip, but I'm just going to do that later so that you guys don't have to sit and watch me trim more sublimation. But overall, other than that little strip up there, it looks pretty good, but definitely a lot easier of a process with those bigger heat presses. All right, now we're going to go ahead and apply the glitter flake. I am going to drop the temperature just a bit. It wouldn't totally hurt the glitter flake if we applied it at 380 for 10 to 15 seconds. However, it does apply as low as 290 degrees. So we want to make sure that we are not totally like obliterating the thing. So whenever you are working with a high temp, typically if you're doing mixed media, we always say, you know, go with the highest temperature of the product. If you're mixing two products, go with the temperature that the media is required for the highest temperature. This is going to be a little bit different because I have had a situation where I've applied glitter flake over top of sublimation and used that temperature, so 380, but it would only be for a short dwell time of like whatever the recommendations are, so like 10 to 12 seconds. But the glitter wanted to flake off, and that's one thing that we always say about our heat transfer vinyl is you don't have to worry about it flaking off and attaching to other things. So my concern is with a pillow, you don't really want that happening, especially if it's being used as like a decorative piece on a bed or on a chair or something like that. So I am going to drop that temperature down and then we can heat apply this. Michelle asks, can you cut sublimation sheets on the vinyl cutter? Yeah. So I've actually cut them in shapes. I just put them on the cutting mat on the Cricut and then feed it in, and I cut it on the paper setting. So just do some test cuts and make sure that you're not cutting halfway through or too deep, because of course you don't want to go through your cutting mat. But yeah, you can cut it. The only thing with that is though, there isn't a backing to the sublimation sheets. So it's not going to be a product that you can actually weed away and then take to the heat press and it have a carrier. So you would need something to transfer that, whether it be transfer tape or something like that. And then picking them up from the cutting mat and taking it over to your heat press. So that's the only thing is, if you're familiar with the paper products that have the backing in which you can weed away, I think Cricut offers it. It's called like infusible ink or something. This is not like that. It's just a sublimation sheet. So if you want to do like weeding, I would recommend definitely using a transfer paper or tape with that can transfer it from your cutting mat to the heat press. Or just doing like standalone elements like a heart or an E. I could have transferred this very easily. So just take that into consideration if you are going to cut it, but it is definitely achievable. All right, so we're going to go ahead and apply our glitter flake now. Just pretty much eyeballing what is center here. And I want to cover up that overlap there. So I'm going to drop this down right there and try to cover up as much of that as possible. And I want to make sure I'm completely covering this with my craft paper because we do not want that transferring up to the heating element. I have some horror stories where I was sublimating glitter flake strips to make cheerleading bows. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that video. And it actually went up to the heating element and then transferred on some polyester baseball jerseys a couple days later. So that was a little tragic. You guys can ask Josh about that because there were some pretty expensive baseball jerseys that he was heat printing. So I don't know if you guys noticed at first, but this was a little bit off on the front. So I just locked that back down so that we could adhere that more accurately because it was lifting up. All right. So now we should be able to flip the sequence around the letter and still create a really cool effect there. So just a really unique way, different products to be able to offer your customers if you're doing unique items like this. This is definitely more boutique style. I actually got the inspiration from Justice. My nieces shop there all the time and they have stuffed animals with flip sequins and pillows and things like that. And I saw a pillow that they had whenever I was shopping for them that looked very similar to this, where they did a pattern on one side and then a solid color on the other, but there was an initial in the middle so that they could use this to decorate their bedrooms with. So really cute idea. I always draw inspiration from popular retail stores and spaces. So, and it's a lot easier if you're using a bigger heat press. I promise you, all you have to do is just lay that on there and put the sheet down. And it's good to go after 45 seconds. All right, so Deb asks, do you know when the new Swing Away A to Z press will be out? It looks awesome in the videos. Yes, Deb, we are also excited for this thing to come out. Whenever we originally promoted it, it was supposed to ship out early of July. However, I'm not sure what happened. I just know that date has been pushed to mid-August, right? So one more month, according to Hottronics, and then we'll be able to get those back out to you guys. Or not back out, but eventually ship. All right. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Cassandra. Melissa says you can also sub onto white glitter vinyl and then apply to them. Yes, absolutely. So I sublimate onto white glitter flake all the time. I just love the process. I always think it turns out really cool, especially if you're not, you don't have the capabilities in-house to print on our printable glitter with your like eco-solvent printer. So if you're looking to add patterns to glitter, then this is another process that you can utilize. So I'm going to finish this sublimation strip over here that we're missing, and post the final results in our Heat Press for Profit Facebook group. So be sure to check that out there. If you're not a part of the group, all you have to do is go on Facebook. It'll ask you to do a questionnaire, and then you'll be accepted into the group. Robin asked, where is the video for the new heat press? So the A to Z, it's right on the Stalls TV YouTube channel. So just go to YouTube. If you type in Stalls TV, our channel will generate. It's one of the first videos on there because it just recently launched and we've been promoting it a lot. We also have it on our Instagram. So if you follow us on Instagram, you've probably seen it there from our IGTV, and then also on TikTok as well. But there's a lot of videos, and it's a really cool little press. It's 15 by 15, so it is a step up from our 9 by 12. So keep that in mind. You can definitely do a lot more larger items, and then it's also going to include interchangeable platens too. So even though you do have that 15 by 15 as your standard size, you'll be able to drop down to 11 by 15, 6 by 10, the 7-inch round if you're doing those round tote bags or tops of caps and things like that. And when I say tops of caps, I mean the ones that are completely flat, not the ones that have like the button on top and stuff. Can't heat press those on there. All right, so it looks like we have all of the questions answered. All right. Oh, I missed one. What type of sublimation paper are you using? So we have a sister company called Transfer Paper Experts who does sublimation paper. So definitely check them out. They do paper for inkjet, desktop printers, laser printers like the Oki and things like that. So they do a variety of paper products so that you can transfer ink onto apparel. So that includes sublimation. So be sure to check that out. Now, our sublimation paper is a little different than what they offer. But if you're subbing in-house, they're a really good resource. But what we do is we mass produce these and stock these so that whenever you guys order, we can get them shipped out, and they're in a much larger size. I want to say 14 by 18, but I'm guessing at this point, but it's on our website. It'll list it out. But yeah, so this is a little bit different, and we're actually printing these on very large, like ink, like the large format printers that are like 54 inches. So we're able to do like roll sheets of that. So a little bit different, but it'll still give you the same outcome even if you're using the Transfer Paper Experts paper. All right. Well, looks like we have all of the questions answered now. If you guys happen to have any questions, feel free to comment those in. We always revisit the broadcast afterwards, so no worries there. We will get you taken care of. But thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm sorry my original topic did not happen today, but I will try to make it work for Thursday. So I'll be back with you guys on Thursday at 11, and I hope to see you there. Thanks again. Have a great week.